What's good, tea people? This is Denny.
And this is James from TeaDB, bringing you episode number 189. So we got some fancy pants raw Pu'erh today.
It's the only pants I drink.
That's true, yeah.
Sir? So tell me about it. What's the deal?
Yeah, so this is a 2003 tea. It was kindly sent to me by a couple people, so thank you to Peter and to the Caveman King for sending me samples of this. It is a made by a Taiwanese boutique producer, Chenyuan Hao, and it's wild leaf, so it's called Yesheng, which stands for that. We'll give this a rinse. I want to get to a number of steeps with this, so yeah.
I was instructed to just not talk. That's not true.
Yeah, that's not true.
Ooh.
So this tea was stored in Malaysia for, I guess, about 13 years now. And supposedly this cake sells for, well, it's all sold out, but if it were available, it would be selling in the 4 digits in Taiwan. And that is American dollars.
Thanks, guys. Love you. Thank you so much. It is really a cool treat to be able to be trying these teas that would be inaccessible, or in this case, sold out completely.
Yep.
We really do appreciate you guys. And if you do want to get in touch and have us review your tea, hit us up, tdborg@gmail.com.
Yep. We'll do another step here. We're just going to try to get through a number of these, so I want to keep these infusions flowing.
Right on. So one rinse, and then we're just going to dive in?
Yep, we already gave it a rinse, so these are some steeps. You can take a nice smell.
The funk from the first sniff has dissipated, so that's good. Always a little funk.
Yep.
Yep.
With the older raw Pu'erhs, certainly.
Okay.
All right.
Cheers. The trick is to not burn the shit out of yourself before we start drinking.
That's true, because we are hitting this with hot water subsequently very many times. It does not have long to cool down.
Wow. It's light, but it's already really sweet. Ooh.
It's almost creamy. I get creamy. It's some sort of pine and woodsy notes as well.
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, that sort of herbal sweetness. Kind of piney, almost like that lemon duster stuff that you use, when you're dusting off your house. That's not a bad thing, though. It's a good thing.
I mean, I lick that lemon duster all the time.
That's how you clean it up, right? You just spray it and then just...
Yeah, edit that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Edit that out.
Just kidding.
This is super, super good already.
Very complex.
Really sweet.
Yeah.
Really... I'm getting a fruity sweetness out of it.
And like Denny said, it's not ultra viscous yet.
No.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
This is really sweet.
I think the sweetness is really emphasized in the finish and like the aftertaste. Yeah. Like there's not a lot of, like, you could argue that there's bitterness in the actual taste initially. But
yeah.
It's certainly lingering sweetness. So
there's a little bit of that sort of dull purple, and now it's really hitting the yellow.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit orange.
Yeah.
And see how we're doing in there. So getting nice and expanded.
Yep.
Beautiful. Enough yapping.
Cheers.
Salud. Getting more into the Pu'erh body.
And I think one of the more interesting things I'm picking up on is sort of like this tree sappy character to it that's sort of like a mouthfeel thing where it's sort of like sticky and thick in your mouth, which is a weird way to describe it, but...
The finish on this is wonderful. Totally wonderful. This is really good.
Good huiguan as well. So throatiness as well as sweetness lingering in the throat. Heat that up.
Yeah.
Just make sure we keep that going.
How would you describe the sweetness on this?
I don't know. I feel like it's sort of maybe it has some. It's hard. It's hard to say. Maybe pine and honey. I guess would be the descriptors, but they're imperfect. I think to sort of exactly describe this.
Yeah, I'm getting honey, and then there's a sort of like foresty thing, but it's not too strong. I'm getting like passion fruity sort of stuff, you know.
I think that's legit. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
really fruit sweet.
So really sort of like
this is good.
Juicy, rich sweetness. It's definitely not dry at all.
Great.
So I think, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the anti-wooey in that regard.
Yeah, where you're sort of getting those dry mineral fruit notes.
Wow. More and more so, honey. This is really good.
Yeah.
And it's not brewing up bitter or tannic at all. It's just great mouthfeel, velvety. I think there's a creaminess to it, like you said.
It's getting thicker.
Yep.
So I think that rich creaminess is getting even more emphasized.
Oh, man. So folks can't try this, huh?
Nope. You cannot order a sample of this.
Ha!
Just kidding.
Sorry, everybody.
We're bad sports.
Yeah, we are. This is really wonderful. It's too bad. These are the kind of teas that you do hope to share.
And what do you think of the storage on this? Is this pretty clean?
Absolutely. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, sweet Lord, if this tastes like what it smelled like on the first sniff, I was gonna be disappointed. But that was just the rinse, and it's gone completely. So yeah, storage wise, it's great. There's nothing stanky about it at all. And there's no sourness whatsoever. And I don't think there's going to be any sourness. There's nothing. So there can be bad storage sourness, and then there can be like tomato tart raspberry sourness, you know. And that can be a flavor thing versus like a gross ew thing. This has neither of those.
Yep.
It just doesn't, whatsoever. So material pretty uniformly.
Yep.
Dark. Looks like it's old.
Yep. Yeah, and I would agree. I think the storage is very good on it. I think it's dry and very clean. And but the tea is definitely aged, not too dry.
So liqueur wise.
Yeah. So I pushed it a little bit on that next one. Yeah.
Pu'erh burps. Cheers.
Cheers. Changing more, I think.
Yep.
More of I'm getting a little bit of that menthol camphor to this. So sort of those woody notes that sort of transform into sort of like a cool minty way in the mouth.
Yeah, the sweetness front to it is gone, but there's still that lingering sweetness in the tea that's really, really nice. And it's just sort of a pleasant... And I think if we were drinking this a little bit more slowly too, we'd be able to appreciate that more. But we're just like pounding this tea.
Yeah, we're chugging this. What about the energy
a little bit of
and...
apple in there too.
Interesting.
Energy-wise is great. Feeling...
Awake.
Wonderful right now.
Wonderful.
Yeah. This is like close up to me and just like eyeballs. Please don't take a still shot of that and then attach it to the comments below.
Or make a gif of it.
Yes, absolutely. Like the peanut butter.
Well, Brandon's not watching. We'll find out now.
We'll find out, won't we? Good times. Yeah, this is a really wonderful, complex tea that's evolving. So last episode we had a black tea on that it was just like just punch, different each time. This is evolving slowly but surely.
Yep.
And the longevity on this is going to be
good,
significantly longer.
Yeah.
So what is this, tea being 6?
Yeah, and we're using 4.5 grams, maybe a little bit more for 75 milliliters.
Mm-hmm.
I would be using maybe 5, but this is the end of the sample, so I don't have that extra little boost.
No problem.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little bit of a cotton mouth, residual tannin vibe, but that's totally fine. Let me get in here again. Damn, man. God. Oh, yeah. You can see which side James uses to pour from, because it's just this like stained streak. James's teaware is like when you look at like a pier covered with like boats that have been in the water for way too long and they're just covered in like green stuff. They function perfectly fine.
But there's plenty of green stuff.
There's some old sailors at that yard. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Cheers to old sailors. Salute.
I think this one it's starting to be a little bit less complex. This infusion for me is big. It's oily. It's thick. It's slightly bitter. Continuing on with that sort of like pine woodiness.
It's feeling more warming to me. I think it could be also, just to play off of what James just said, I think it could be a little bit because of the boldness of the tea is coming out. We're losing a little bit of the complexity and getting into sort of that big middle hunk of it. And then as this brews out, we're going to lose even that sort of freight train of a taste, and then we'll just be left with these sort of like softer, delicate notes. So,
and we're going to just do this one and one more, and that'll be this tea.
And then I'm going to go and jump out the window and escape velocity into the stratosphere.
And what will be left is a tiny little puddle.
Beautiful. So steeping 8 or something like that?
Something
maybe?
like that. Who's counting? Someone out there is counting.
Someone's going to count.
Neither of us.
Yeah.
I think it's 7 or 8, something like that. So that is reheated water. Here is...
Cheers. Definitely that wood camphor, like herbal, the citrus crisp biteness that I talked about a little bit, that lemony stuff has I think died off. The honey is reminiscent. There's almost a sense of sort of ginger in the mouth after,
ginger, interesting. So sort of like a lightly spicy.
Yeah, just a little bit, and it's more of that sort of bold, typical raw Pu'erh vibe.
Yeah.
Which is quite wonderful. This is the kind of tea that you drink early in the day because it's going to keep you up.
Yep, strong stuff.
I will say it's the strength of this tea is only coming out in steeps.
Yep.
I'd say like 6 through 8 or 9 or whatever we're at right now. And those first handful, we're bringing a delicate but complex flavor to the.
As my friend as one of my friends who is I think he's an ordained Buddhist priest described it.
You can tell that James is going to be super serious right now.
This is a big balls tea. Thank you for that scent of wisdom.
Or ovaries, or whatever you have.
Exactly.
We're a politically correct tea show here. We take no sides, except for the right one.
Or the left one.
Damn, he's good. All right. Cheers. Yeah, it needed the heat.
It's sort of back into that phase 1 again, a little bit.
Yeah, but coming down, the viscosity, I would say, is no longer that sort of, I think, James, you described it as sort of oily, round, like there's this sort of feeling watery now. What a surprise. Watery tea. It's crazy. But actually, I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. So we're losing a little bit of that oomph on the texture and the body of the tea, but there's still a lot of flavor going on. I'm getting a little bit of that reminiscent or remaining ginger something off of this.
And there's a little bit of this wild tea taste to this tea. It's sort of like this sort of untamed bitterness. The Crimson Lotus tea that we had a year ago, their young production, it had a little bit of that as well. And it just, this is much older, so I think it's had a little bit of time to mellow out.
Yeah.
But I get a little bit of that, and it's continued on into some of these later steeps.
Yeah, this is wonderful, a wonderful tea. Unfortunately, we can't really plug a place to pick this up. Just be active in the community, and
good things will come to you.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So if folks want to learn more about tea, James.
Yeah, come check us out at TeaDB.org. Hit subscribe if you are watching us on the YouTube platform.
Yep.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all the social medias. Hit that like on the Facebook. And thank you guys for tuning in. Big thank you to the people that provided us this sample.
Seriously.
It is certainly a privilege.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys next week.
Cheers.